welcome to NAB Day 3. Yesterday was awesome. We had a great time talking to some of our partners. We also started our live stream from the Creator Lab main stage. Get ready for more of that today. We've also got 2 exciting announcements today, partnerships with Producer and CREE8 Media. So stay tuned, keep following along, and
Great. Saber, thanks for joining us. Why don't you tell us about what you've done in your career and what you're doing now?
So I'm a filmmaker with over 20 years of experience working for large brands like Audi, Mercedes, Breitling, and during that time I really saw the pain of producing, and so during that frustration we built this application called Producer Make a Machina, and it's really helping filmmakers understand the process better, but it doesn't just stop by filmmaking, it's also in enterprises. So every company in the world has to create content. If you don't create content, you're not relevant nowadays anymore. And so we're really helping companies to break it down, to say your task management is connected to production steps, your production steps is connected to assets. You really have everything together in one unified platform.
Amazing, and I know Producer and CREE8 work together, and we just announced some news about that. You want to tell us what just happened?
Yeah, that's really an amazing partnership that we are now kicking off. Really working closely together, really, and what I think what's amazing about CREE8 is they allow you to work with your native tools. You don't have to switch to other tools or so, and this is really key to this time because users are struggling to change, to adapt to new workflows, and I think by us bringing our task management but connecting it to an application that allows users to work in their real applications, I think that is the key there. So I'm really excited about working together with CREE8.
Wonderful. So we're at NAB 2025. What are you most excited to accomplish at the conference this year?
I think it's just about speaking to the people, understanding their pain, understanding also, I think there's a lot of fear around AI, but it's also to comfort people. AI is not there to take their jobs away. It's really let's find a way to make it better, optimize it better. I think that's it. Just speaking to the actual users as I understand them well as a filmmaker myself, and trying to understand what is their biggest frustrations.
Right. We're going to switch into a little bit of a lightning round. Which number NAB is this for you?
It's number 4.
What are 3 words to describe NAB?
I mean, it's confusing, I think, in many ways. So I don't know. I just have that one.
Okay. Good enough.
And I mean, there are companies like CREE8, which is CREE8, that are actually looking at it from a holistic standpoint, and they really are putting together an entire platform that's going to include everything for you. So they're looking at it from the development side and going all the way through the process with you. So you're spot on, Kate. We do have to rethink, because it's so long a post.
But first, why don't you just introduce yourself?
My name is Michael Kamas. I'm Senior Director of Innovation at CREE8 Media.
Great. What does CREE8 Media do?
CREE8 Media is a systems integrator plus reseller. We also do support as well, and we cover all different types of verticals. We also handle not only post-production, but broadcast and AV as well. 14 locations in the United States.
Great. And which number NAB is this?
This is 17. 17 NABs, yes.
So at NAB 2025, what's the coolest thing you've seen so far?
I like to see that the promise of AI is actually solidified, and there are products this year that are actually shipping, but not only shipping, but can run on premises at your facility or can run in the cloud. So depending on what your use case is, there's an AI for that.
Who's the most interesting person you've spoken with so far?
The most interesting person I've spoken with this far today? Kevin Toes at Adobe. He heads up part of the Premiere team, and he's fantastic to talk to.
Great. We're going to go to a little rapid fire here.
Sure.
Describe NAB 2025 in 3 words.
Condensed, focused, interesting.
Feedback people aren't talking enough about Mike?
Analytical AI. Folks talk about Gen AI because I can create a picture with a dog and unicorn, that's great. But analytical AI that can look at your media and then make intelligent decisions about what it sees in the media, what is seen, what is heard, and make creative decisions downwind of that, that's the magic. And people seem to bury that because they're looking at generative AI.
Do you see those solutions emerging already?
Completely. There's a lot of solutions on the show floor this year, actually.
Creators don't realize yet how much they're playing to change the game.
Creators don't realize how much pre-planning will change the game. I'll give you an example. Everyone who's a video professional right now has had to go through some kind of technical training and education to get to the level where they can create and solve their own problems. Now that the creator economy has exploded, we see folks just generating content with not a lot of thought to some of the technical underpinnings. So they have to then deal with those technical underpinnings right before they deliver, as opposed to at the beginning when they start. So in post-production, we have a phrase called pay now or pay later, and that's where the most stress comes into play. Normally you want it at the beginning because you're more stressed at the end, but now because we're not dealing with the technical underpinnings soon enough, we deal with the problems at the end, which is paying later. We're seeing tools that have a "that was easy" button and makes a lot of assumptions on what the creator wants to do to get that content out. And as we'll see in NAB 2026 and NAB 2027, these intelligent systems are going to be even more intelligent to kind of read your mind and say, this is probably what you're looking to do. Final thoughts from the show floor. This is kind of day one, so it's hard to have a final thought today. Rest your feet, rest your voice, stay hydrated, and get a monorail pass.
Yeah, I was just wondering, I know you've been working... It's okay, you can keep looking at me. You've been working with CREE8 in some capacity for a while, but we're announcing a new reseller partnership with KeyCode Media, and I was wondering if you could give a couple words on why that's exciting.
Why it's exciting is deploying in the cloud can be extraordinarily difficult. And when you're using CREE8, it's a few button presses, and you have not only a complete LAN deployment in the cloud, but you also have support, you also have ways to do review and approve, and a little bit of asset management, and it makes it very easy for you and your team to start editing without having to hire on a cloud consultant to build it for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Hi, Andy Beach, and I just left Microsoft in the last 3 months and am consulting under the company name Alchemy Creations.
What's your biggest takeaway from camera to cloud kind of?
I think we've been talking about camera to cloud for a long time in the industry, and now we're actually seeing real use cases of it, and we're seeing adoption at a much higher rate. It was being done for the last couple of years in a I think a less efficient way that was leading to more cost than was needed in order for it to be more broadly adopted. I think that has changed, and now we're really seeing it take off. And it's allowing other people who maybe didn't traditionally have a production associated with their event or with the work they were doing, they can now do that.
In your own words, what do you think is the primary benefit of bringing your workflows into the cloud?
I think there's a couple different reasons that you want to bring your workflow up to the cloud. I mean, first and foremost, you want to be able to have fewer bodies on the ground for a given production because that makes you more efficient with it. If you have a distributed team that's working on it, you also have the ability to react to things much quicker. In other words, you don't have to wait for travel to occur before people are out there helping produce and package something that's maybe happening quicker. So I think there's all those sustainability and carbon footprint issues that come along with it, but there's a speed to market that is suddenly helped as well that is equally as valuable to the customer, allowing them to have a broader reach with their content.
What are you most excited to see here at NAB?
Well, interestingly, I thought I was going to see a lot of AI hype, and I haven't really seen AI on the show floor. We're talking about it in the panels, which I think is the right place, but we're also seeing a lot of things on the show floor that are really around helping creators save money in what they're doing, or helping creators find new markets and new revenue with new capabilities. Those capabilities might be AI, but they don't have to be AI as part of it. And I think that means we're maybe past the beginnings of the hype cycle and we're on to the actual implementation, and that's kind of exciting.
What is the most coolest thing you have seen so far?
Oh gosh, I mean, personally, I think the stuff you guys are doing is incredibly cool. So I don't want to discount that by any means. But on one of the panels yesterday, we were talking about some of the latest AI technology that has come around that's sort of even beyond what agents are doing, and it's really designing an AI component that can control a piece of software for you. So if something's got a great API wall, which all pieces of professional software do at this point, I can effectively make that autonomous, or I can programmatically control multiple versions of it simultaneously. And I think we've had that in cloud work on the broadcast side, for how channels get orchestrated and deployed for years, but this is bringing it at a whole different level where I didn't have to programmatically go create those pieces. I have an agent that just runs it for me and does the programming part for me, and I think that's fascinating.
Absolutely, yeah. Who's the most interesting person you have spoken with? If you gotta pick one.
You know what? I'm going to pick a lawyer, controversially. I met an entertainment lawyer yesterday named Nathaniel Buke, and he has been tracking, he's in entertainment law, but he's been looking at the implications of AI and the policies that are being written, and he had amazing advice for creators around how they protect themselves and how they make sure that they continue to have the copyrights on the content they're creating, even if they're using AI. And that's an important part of the education that I don't think I've heard in years past.
That's very interesting. When was the last time that you worked full-time at an office?
So I have been remote for a long time. The last time I had an office in a building that wasn't my house was November of 2009. And I remember thinking, oh, maybe I'm just doing this for a while. And a decade went by, and then another half decade went by, and I'm still working from home. Even my entire career at Microsoft was 12 years, and I worked all of it remote.
That's great. Why do you think that working remotely for a team is important?
I think it gives you a flexibility. There's always times when we're going to come together and see each other, but the technology has expanded so greatly that I can work from home and have an experience where I collaborate with others, and I don't need to be in the same room. And that changes the quality of life. I get to spend more time with my family, and I get to spend more time at home, and I get to take the dog for a walk during the middle of the day. And those moments would get missed if I was in an office and sort of secluded away. I would have a work life and a personal life, and I have both, and I don't see that as being a bad or a detriment. I still have work-life balance, and in fact I feel like I have more autonomy because of that remote work.
I'm going to give you superpowers right now.
Okay.
And your superpower is if you could
I'm ready.
make one headache of your workflow disappear forever.
Yep.
What would that be?
It would be render times. Whether it's an AI prompt, whether it's a graphic that I'm creating, or a video that I'm outputting, there still becomes a time where I'm watching a bar slowly move across the screen. The bar's gotten very fast in the last several years, but that just means the work then gets more complicated, and so then the render slows back down. So if I could snap my fingers and my renders were all done immediately, I would take that superpower in a heartbeat.
Right now we're gonna this is rapid fire.
Yeah.
So you gotta answer.
Okay, I'm ready.
NAB in 3 words.
Matured and involving.
Creators don't realize yet how much will change the game.
Data.
People aren't talking enough about
Policies.
If I could edit content from anywhere, I choose.
Sorry, say that one again.
If you could edit content from anywhere, I choose.
I would Netflix. One word is hard.
Name your workflow monster.
My workflow
Monster.
Oh, my workflow monster. Organization.
Okay, and what number NAB is this for you?
So my first NAB was 1996. I've missed a few years, but I did count last night, and I'm at the 26-year mark this year.
Wow, thank you.
Thank you.
So maybe just start by introducing yourself.
I'm Lori H. Schwartz, and I'm the CEO and founder of Storytech. And what we do is we work with brands, tech companies, media companies, and we help them understand what each other is doing and how to work together. So it's really pairing the story with the tech. And it usually manifests at big trade shows and events and salons and things like that, where we create opportunities for everyone to share what they're doing and connect the dots.
Cool. And
It's a lot of experiential marketing.
Yeah. Okay. And how do you work with CREE8?
So CREE8 is one of my partners, sort of ecosystem partners. I'm out in the world putting together panels and salons and things like that, and trying to get great technology companies and the folks that are really changing the ecosystem, and also solutions that kind of personally turn me on a little bit, because I think that they are core to the future of where everything is going. And so I know Lisa for a long time, the CEO, and I really feel strongly that the solution they're offering is at the right time and the right place, because the technology is constantly changing. And I'm sitting in the middle of watching creative technologists, filmmakers and production companies, independent creators that have, they're not funded in any way, and then even software companies and technology companies, and they can't figure out how to keep up and get everything to each other at the right time, right? And so you have a solution like CREE8 that makes it really easy in this continuously volatile environment to actually light up and get a pipeline going and get your work done. And so it takes away all that stress and all the financial investment and the wondering, how am I going to keep up? Oh, this software just got upgraded, or this just changed, or I have to light this up tomorrow. So what CREE8 really does is it allows us all to keep working in this volatile environment.
Awesome. And what number NAB is this for you?
Oh my God, the NAB number, I have lost count, because I've been curating for the NAB show and putting together panels. I think, God, it's got to be like close to 15 years, something like that.
Wow.
And it's changed, like the different things that I do here. Sometimes I run a show floor tour program where I'm walking executives around. Sometimes I'm just curating panels. Sometimes I've worked for the New York show. So it really just depends on what show it is. But after a while in your life, when you're working in technology and media, the years just blend together. And I have no real idea. But I will tell you that this is a year where I really see we're on the precipice of like all of these things coming together. Like, it's really hard right now to talk about a trend. You really can't talk about AI or 5G or hybrid technologies or the cloud or any of that as solo solutions. And even AI now is starting to land, and people are stopping and just saying AI, and they're actually talking about, okay, it's Gen AI, or we're just using an algorithm for analytics, or whatever it is, that the solution is providing. We're starting to get real about it, and it's all blending together, and it's brick building. And it's a nice analogy actually to what CREE8 is doing, because what CREE8 is doing is putting all of those trends together, all of those pieces together to build a pipeline. And I think the more people that understand this, the more this is all going to explode. Because you don't have to just be a storyteller for a television show or for a film that's going in theaters. You can actually be telling your brand story, your business's story, whatever it is that you are doing in the world. If you're an enterprise solution, a business, these are the solutions that will help get your message out to everybody. And so there's a lot of opportunity for all this tech to get into the hands of other businesses.
Nice. And what's the coolest thing you've seen so far, or what are you most excited about seeing at NAB?
Oh, that's interesting. Well, I think the thing that I'm the most excited about is there is just obviously this wave of independent filmmakers or creatives now who have access to democratized technology. And I'm not just talking about influencers or social media folks, and those are all wonderful providers of content, but I even mean young filmmakers coming up who have vision and who want to get it out to the world and who are not backed by a big independent studio or whatever it is. They can literally pick up a rig like you have right now, use a solution like a CREE8, and then hook up to a Vimeo or something like that and get their content out. And so more than ever before, I think this narrow casting and reaching out to your communities is going to be really wonderful and allow people to build their own followings and create a lot of great content. So that's very exciting, and we've been talking about it for years, but I think on the floor right now are demonstrations of that all really coming together.
Yeah, and who's the most interesting person you've spoken to so far?
The most interesting person I have spoken to, that is so interesting. Let me think about that for a second. Well, I did get to meet some guys from Sony the other day, and what they are doing is they're funding an initiative called Torchlight. And Torchlight is a production company, technology company inside of Sony that is problem solving. They're like a functioning lab, and someone can come to them with a problem in the pipeline, in the production pipeline, and they solve for it. So if they're using Unreal, or if it's a virtual production solution or whatever it is, and a movie needs a little help in one section, Torchlight is solving for it. And I love that concept, that you have this group of multi-talented, faceted people who are sitting there waiting to solve your problem. And so that is creative and technology together. They're really united. And then in the audience at that event were two Sony guys straight from Tokyo who are funding it. And so I love that Sony's thinking about, let's get our tech in the hands of creatives and let's put it all together. So that was really interesting, getting to meet Sony and then watching this panel take place and seeing how they're bringing creative and tech together.
When's the last time you worked full-time in an office?
Oh my God. Like for a big company, you mean?
Just in general.
The last time that I worked full-time in an office has got to be 15 to 20 years ago. I've been independent. I had a big job at an ad agency for about 15 years, and I think that was something like 15 years ago, or maybe it's longer. It's God, I think it was actually it could have been like 2012, so it was longer. 20 years ago, something like that.
And why is being able to work remotely important for you?
Well, I think for what I do, I work for a lot of different clients, and I also was a single mom. So I wanted to be able to be home when she got home. But also I was kind of a unicorn type of person, and it was hard for me to really find a job or a place to work where I fit into whatever that role was. And so being able to create my own company, to use democratized tools at home, to set up an office there, to be able to talk to anyone in the world whenever I needed to bring in partners and to work more fluidly has been a game changer. And so all the different home solutions like Zoom and a really fast connection and software packages that are flexible, right? Because I can't afford big enterprise solutions. I need to be able to, as an independent, I'm an S Corp, I scale up and down. So I hire people when a big project comes along, and then I have to let them go when it's done. And so I need flexible solutions, and so there's so many of those rolling out right now. And it is nice to take an afternoon nap, and I think there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So that's great. And it is nice also occasionally to go into an office. It is nice to go and meet people and do things like that. And it is important to be around other people, to have those in-person meetings. We all need that, and that really helps a lot. But the flexibility of being able to be home is really great too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna do a little rapid fire. So
Okay, I'm up for it.
describe NAB 2025 in 3 words.
Connected, fast, and streaming.
Cool. And people aren't talking enough about blank.
Private 5G. That's one of my clients, and it is the coolest thing. And it literally will allow you to get huge files up and to wherever you want it to go without worrying about security. So I think more people need to be talking about private 5G.
Cool. And creators don't realize how much blank is going to change the game.
How much that technology, the pipelines, all of these solutions that are going to make it really easy for them to do whatever they want, wherever they want. Virtual production solutions, AI feeding into all these different pipelines. I don't think that a lot of creatives understand what's coming and how it's accessible to them. I think they're frightened by it. I think AI is overwhelming. Virtual production can seem like it's really expensive. Any of these things sound like they're going to cost a lot or be really hard to wrap your head around. And I know many creatives who are very protective of their vision. But these tools are meant to help your vision get to the audience. So that's what I think is going to be really exciting.
Cool. And if you could work from anywhere in the world or galaxy, where would it be?
I like the galaxy idea. I think like somewhere that was just, more nature, more outdoor, surrounded by, lakes or oceans or trees or just more nature.
Yeah.
I think we spend too much time inside. So it would be great to be in a situation where I could get great connection, but be, surrounded by wilderness. I think that would be awesome. And also great takeout.
Yeah.
Because that's really important.
Okay, and last question.
Yes.
We talk about this idea of a workflow monster, something that hangs you up.
Yes.
What would you name your workflow monster?
I use multiple tools, and I'm often working with different clients who have proprietary systems. So sometimes it's a Google, sometimes it's a Microsoft. It could be even another one that I don't even know about. And then I have to get a new email, and I have to get a new login, and then it gets all complicated, and my browser doesn't know what is going on, or my camera gets confused. So I would love to be in a situation as an independent worker who can access and use all these different platforms with ease. Like, I don't have an IT person to call. I don't have the guy down the hall pulling him in and going, what's wrong with my computer? So sometimes it's very overwhelming when I'm trying to service clients and they all have their own systems and I can't do anything about it. And I just want to throw my computer out the window when that happens. So it would be great to have a solution, someone around that could help me. Or just get ubiquitous about all of these different platforms and secure. I can't tell you how many passwords I have, how many different computers and accounts I have with all of my different clients. And in some cases, I even have separate computers per client because of security reasons, which I totally understand. So I dream and fantasize about a world where it's all I'm not fantasizing, but I am dreaming.
Yeah. Okay, any parting words for the CREE8 TV audience?
Yeah, I think that everyone should just jump in and try things. Don't be afraid of new technology. Don't be afraid of new pipelines. Don't be afraid of AI or any of these things that sound like boogeymen, that are scary or overwhelming. Take an investment. Do trials. Do a lot of trials. Jump in and try things. Don't overproduce ahead of time. Don't make the budget in your head and then limit yourself. But go big first, and then figure out how you're going to make it happen.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's it. Day 3 of NAB in the books. Thanks again for following along.